What's happening, everybody? We're talking about the state of affairs that we are in. The coronavirus is very real. It is out there, and it is affecting now all of our lives here in the United States to the extent, I don't know, you don't know, we're all learning this together at the same time, but there's a good chance that a lot of us, all of us, may be confined to our homes. Our normal access that we have to go to the gym and work out, we may not have that. And so I know a lot of you guys out there are probably freaking out. And I think we all need to be in a state, from a human element of where we're taking our skill set or our luxuries that we have personally and trying to give back. We're trying to make everybody's lives easier. I know that, I'm in that state of mind. So, I work out for a living. I teach people how to work out. I teach people a skill set of training themselves. So I'm doing the best that I can to just give back. And there's a lot of awesome coaches out there that are doing the same. I'm seeing it all over social media platforms right now, all over YouTube, of ways that you guys can work out at home comfortably. So please look at all of them and apply that to your everyday life so you can continue to get that stress relief that allows you to deal with all the craziness that is ensuing right now. What I want to do is present you with an opportunity to maybe be able to work out of home, work out of a private gym, wherever you have access to during this time period, a little easier, a little bit more efficiently, have a little bit more of a vision. I think when you have more of a vision to what you're doing, it's not so overwhelming and it's kind of motivating at the same time. And we all need to have, aspirations of continuing to do things in an excited manner while these times are a little bit tough. However, our mindset has to change. Since you're not going to be in your normal gym setting with your normal gym equipment, things have to change. And I know that that can be a little bit hard. It can be a little bit overwhelming, but it's really not, okay? It really starts with some basic concepts. So let's outline that. The concepts that I have written here are simple because this should be simple. It should be an easy transition, not a stressful transition. So I know my writing's a little bit small, but I'll go through each one of these steps and I'll kind of explain what I mean by this. The number one thing is when you go in the gym, you're trying to create this stimulus. Whether you know what that stimulus is, it doesn't really matter, but you're giving this stimuli to your body saying, hey, it's your opportunity to force adaptation and enforce change. Your main motive now with stimuli is that you're trying to go into this maintenance. It's like, well, I'm getting just enough stimuli to where I'm not regressing. I'm kind of staying right where I'm at so that when life settles back down, I've given myself enough of this like neurological stimulus, enough of this, this desire, this need to stay coordinated in this skill set that I've made, that when I go back to the gym, I kind of feel like I just pick up where I left off. So the concept of progressing, I wouldn't get too caught up in that, okay? It's just a concept of making sure that you're getting through this time period and not going backwards. So just a stimuli of being able to give some kind of neurological demand to your body is gonna be just enough, okay? Secondly, what can I expect out of my workouts? Well, I'm not gonna have access to weights and machines and things that I'm used to having. So I would go with more of an approach of just kind of conditioning at this point in time. Going in, getting maybe into an oxygen debt to where you're consistently out of breath, maybe under recovering from exercise to exercise, set to set, okay? And keeping things more dense, all right? It's probably something that not a lot of you guys are doing. You're probably doing a lot of straight sets. You're probably trying to progress your loads. Well, since you can't give that kind of demand of increased force from set to set, we might as well give a different kind of demand. And that demand is that, well, we're gonna be under recovered, so our condition has to get a little bit better, which is a different kind of stimulus than your body's probably used to, and it's a nice new challenge to try. The last concept is that your workout needs to be resource-based, okay? It needs to be as simple as what you have access to. If you have access just to your body weight and bands, if you have access just literally to, taking your newborn baby and curling that thing, so be it. If you have access to a private gym, more power to you. If you have a garage gym, more power to you. But you need to be very, very realistic and optimistic about the resources that you have in hand, because it's going to directly translate to the style of workout that you do. Now, the way that I like to make workouts, which we're going to progress to, this is my sample workout, is again, being realistic about what do I have access to? What can I do? So the idea of having a split, well, today's back day, today's chest day, today's leg day, it really needs to go out the window. We're trying to simplify and make things easy. So again, we're looking at the body as a complete organism, one massive, working unit. What's a way for me to tax my entire body every single workout to create this neurological demand that it needs to stay in this phase that it's at right now, so it's not going backwards. And in that case, I just like to choose segments that I train. Okay, so you'll notice here, for instance, on this workout sample that I have, that I'm not giving you specific exercises, and that goes back to that concept of the resources that you have. I'll try to give a couple examples, but you're going to have to answer a lot of these things for yourself. Hopefully, based off of the template that I give you, you're able to answer that, okay? So the workout, you could call it a total body workout, but again, it's just a systemic style workout that's giving demand to your entire body every single workout, but not digging too much of a hole to where you couldn't literally do this multiple times in the week, which is the goal. If we're going to be confined to our homes for 2 to 4 weeks, well, I want you to be able to do this workout often, not worrying about, I need to change the workout up and have all these different tools and resources. Like, no, you literally could do the same workout over and over, and you're going to be just fine. In fact, it might be fun to see how that same workout progresses over time. That would be my approach, okay? So we have basically 3 different compounds of sets here. They're tri-sets or they're combinations, however you want to call it. And what I want essentially is stimulus going to up and down different parts here, okay? So we have a push, so we can consider that some kind of pushing motion in any degree, into a knee, okay? So knees, what I mean by that is like my knees doing the greatest degree of movement through a range of motion. So it could be any form of a split squat, any form of a lunge, any form of a squat, okay, any form of a leg press or leg extension, but it's kind of like a quad-ish dominant style exercise, something that maxes out my dorsiflexion of my ankle and maxes out my knee flexion of my knee. And again, that can be body weight. Body weight can be absolutely taxing enough for this, okay? And then last exercise, it just says small. So I'm picking a smaller body part, maybe something in this lateral plane, maybe something in this frontal plane, maybe something in this, that'd be sagittal, okay? Something in this curling motion, something in this extending motion, something in this flying motion here. Anything of these smaller body parts, because what you have is a lot of tissue working together to perform one single task in A1 and A2. In A3, we want things to be a little bit more simplified. I know a lot of you guys like to use the term of compound and isolation. I think that those terms are kind of silly because a lot of isolation movements are still compound movements. However, if we're thinking along those lines, it would be kind of like 2 compounds and 1 isolation style exercise, just so that, again, it's not too overwhelming of a set to where your performance drops off, okay? So let's move into the B's. The B's are the same, just opposite parts, okay? So instead of a push, we have a pull. So it could literally be a pull here, pull here, pull here, pull here, any degree of pulling that you choose, okay? Could be a pull up, it could be a barbell row, it could be a dumbbell row, it literally could be a 5-gallon bucket of water that you're rowing, okay? It can be anything creatively that you think of, all right? Hips, so in the previous tri-set, we had knees doing the greatest degree of movement. Now we have hips doing the greatest degree. So that means I'm getting through this full like gait style cycle for my hips, and my knees are just kind of coming along for the ride. So again, it could be a split squat if your stance is wide enough, or if your back foot is elevated. It could be a hip dominant squat. It could be a hip dominant leg press, okay? It could be a glute bridge. It could be some form of a hip extension. It could be some form of an RDL. A lot of opportunities there, okay? And once you find that exercise, the point to make on all these, once you find that exercise that works really well that you like, the next time you come around to this workout, don't find something else to go in there, okay? Again, take the same concept you would in your normal split. You're trying to progress these movement patterns, to continue to overload yourself systemically, right? Like really embrace the fact that you found something that works well, agrees well with your body, and stick with it over this period of time that you're doing this workout, okay? So we're at hips, going into another small, all right? So if in the A's I did some form of like a curl variation, Now I can do some form of an extension variation. I could do some form of a dip style variation, okay? I could do some, again, lateral style movement, rear delt style movement, front delt style movement, okay? Again, the opportunity is completely up to you. I'm giving you guys a lot of options so that you don't see this and you're like, oh, I can't do this. This is way too complex. This would never fit my lifestyle right now or the current settings that I'm in, okay? So you got your A's, you got your B's, and now your C's, okay? Find something to challenge yourself on. How many push-ups can you do? How many, bottom half squats, like quad dominant squats can you do? How many pull-ups can you do? How long can you hold the top of like a crunch? How long could you hold like a side plank or some kind of yoga pose or something like that? What I want this to be is kind of like a more metabolic, long duration set. I mean, if we think about the entirety of these sets on average, if each set is about 30 seconds, which is, kind of average, okay? You only have a minute and a half of work here. What I would like is this to be almost double that, like almost 3 minutes in total work. Something that's gonna get your heart rate really elevated, something that's high intensity, but it's also gonna flush a lot of metabolites in your system. I just think it's a good, challenging way to finish your workout. And there's no scientific reasoning behind that except for it just works. I've seen people do it over and over and they get good results from it and they finish the workout on a high note, and that's what you want, okay? So again, that's up to you, but a nice challenge set. And then write that into your notes or your logbook like, hey, this is what I did. And the next workout, you can repeat it, or you can do something close and see if you beat those numbers or beat that time or whatever it may be. That is completely up to you. I mean, you could even make this aerobic based. You could make this anaerobic based or something like that as well on a bike. You could do some form of bike intervals. You could do some form of incline treadmill, deadmill, runs intervals. That is completely up to you. There's a lot of things you can do to that depending on how creative you want to get. Okay, so we have the template. But the question is, well, how many sets? How many reps? How long is the rest? How often should I do it? I always start very modest and conservative because, again, my goal is looking at this thing not underneath a microscope, but having a very long-term view of this. So I want to be able to do this thing often if I can at a very high level of performance to where if I did this on Monday and by the time I get to Friday and it's like my third workout, I'm so sore and so beat up that I can't perform. That is not what we want. Okay, so we want to be able to perform each workout at the highest level possible, but do it often, okay? So if it's me and I have access like to a garage style gym, let's just use that as an example, I'm gonna start doing this thing 3 times a week, So almost every other day I'm training 3 to 4 times a week. How many sets of each, cluster of things would I do here? Well, the A's and the B's, I would say 2 to 3 working rounds is fine. And I would take as many warm-up sets as I need to kind of just like coordination-wise, neurologically wise, wire in and get to a point where I'm like, okay, like I'm ready to go, okay? It can't get any better than this. It can only get worse, so it's time to work, okay? The last part, again, it's probably just a 1-set deal. And if I'm really feeling froggy, maybe I do it twice. If I'm doing some form of like cardio style output, maybe, 5 to 6 total really short duration sets is what I would do, okay? Now, a lot of the things with sets and reps are going to change based off of what you have. If I have lighter loads of things, okay, I'm probably going to need less total sets, maybe 1 to 2 sets of everything, but higher reps. If I have more load, maybe I would do 2 to 3 to 4 sets of everything with lower repetitions, okay? But you're going to have to make that decision. If I'm used to coming in and squatting 400 pounds, and now I'm only able to do body weight, right? My sets are gonna be a lot longer. And that's just because what I'm trying to do is give a stimulus that's still somewhat challenging or taxing. So the set's just gonna have to be longer. However, I know that I'm not gonna be capable of doing a lot of sets because I'm getting a lot of output. So it may only take 1 to 2 rounds, okay? Those are things to think about. And again, frequency. So frequency is going to be dictated by what you can perform, all right? Be conservative. How often do I do this workout over the course of a week? Try it 3 times. If by the 3rd workout, it was really crappy, maybe, you need to put more rest days in between or just do less workouts per week. And remember, you're systemically challenging your entire system here. So for some of you, this is going to be very, very challenging. And for some of you, it's not challenging just because you haven't found the right mix of intensity and load and duration and rest, okay? So this is going to be a trial by fire thing, all right? This isn't meant to be perfect. This is meant to just be enough until you get back into the gym. So again, do not make this a stressful thing. It's supposed to be something where you guys have something new, a new challenge. You guys are being inconvenienced, and then you still have something that you're able to, in a non-stress way, go into your home and do. Okay, so hopefully this whole template thing gets your wheels spinning. It gives you some direction, but I promise you, if you're confined to your home, like a lot of you guys are going to be, if you don't have access to the normal resources and luxuries that we have, you're going to be just fine from the training aspect. Okay, your body's not going to go anywhere. You're not going to regress. Be optimistic, okay? All you need is a little stimulus, and a little stimulus goes a long way. This is just one way to skin that cat, one of like dozens, okay? So look at this video. You can use this, but also look at all the other coaches out there doing the same thing, because I'm not the only one. And try theirs as well. Find something that fits well for you. If it fits well, let me know. If you think it's awesome, go ahead and share it. If you found another one that you think fits you better, tell me about it. I want to see it too, okay? So good luck to all of you guys. I'm in the same boat as all you. We're going to get through this just fine, but hopefully this is a good start for you.